the Genshin Impact boycott is getting even crazier, and there's a whole new ton of stuff that's given them a little bit more ammo to keep going. If you don't know, Genshin Impact recently released their version 5.0 livestream, which was a livestream pretty much outlining everything that's going on in their new region, Natlan. Now, if you don't know, Natlan has been in a little bit of drama recently, especially with a lot of the character designs. People are arguing that the characters weren't dark enough, especially for the region. Natlan is supposed to be a very, very warm place and inspired by a lot of African and also Mexican kind of culture and kind of environment too. So you'd expect some of the characters to be a little bit darker. But it turns out the Hoyoverse just did not want to do that at all and actually made the majority of their characters kind of white. And well, obviously this sparked the Hoyoverse boycott movement again. Now, I say this is a movement. It's not really a movement. It's a bunch of people just arguing online and kind of creating pointless posts on Twitter. Now, do I think it's a good cause? Do I think there should be more darker characters in the game? Of course. I think there should be way more darker characters in Genshin Impact, especially in the Natlan region for an area that is just supposed to be so hot and, you know, sunny, which again, it just doesn't make sense for the characters to be so pale. But again, I do think it is a very, very good reason. But at the same time, I just think the whole Hoyoverse or Genshin Impact boycott thing is just super like corny. And at some points, it just doesn't seem very genuine. But in this video, we're going to be getting into a lot of that. And we're going to be going through some of the posts that have been posted by Hoyoverse Boycott. We're going to be going through a message from Hoyoverse and Dewey himself, which pretty much talks about all of this like drama going on, especially with a lot of the boycott stuff. And also some like disgruntled kind of voice actors at the moment who are unhappy A with Hoyoverse and B with a lot of the fans talking about them. So again, we're going to be going through all of this, so don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and also go over to GamerSubs, use my code CRAZIER where you can get yourself 10% off a ton of cups and tubs. I definitely recommend going over there. They got some super nice designs and yeah, it's just really good overall. So go over there, link down below, and let's get back into the video. So yeah, as I said, there is a ton of accounts like this on Twitter, on pretty much every single social media site called Hoyoverse Boycott. Now, this is a pretty big one that, you know, reposts quite a bit of stuff, but there's so many out there, and you'll probably see this in some of their reposts. They do repost a lot of other Hoyoverse Boycott accounts. Some of them like do it for like a certain character, some of them do it just for Hoyoverse in general, etc, etc. And, you know, they have a page here which pretty much says, you know, what to do. They're pretty much telling you to review bomb Genshin Impact and also, I'm guessing, some of the other Hoyoverse games, seeing as it's Hoyoverse in general. Like and retweet their posts, share their posts, respond to surveys, send complaints to customer support, sign the linked petition, contact cultural ambassadors, and post in the official Hoyoverse account's comments and mute/block trolls. So again, a lot of that does seem a little bit kind of beneficial to the Hoyoverse Boycott account. I mean, you know, like the like and retweet and like kind of follow us thing. But again, I think a lot of that is supposed to be for good. But again, you know, it is a little bit weird. But they got to say that the don'ts is don't make any additional purchases. So pretty much just don't purchase anything in the game in the future. Participate in giveaways, participate in Hoyoverse's economic flow, battle pass, purchasable login rewards, merchandise and collaborations. So you can't make any additional purchases, no giveaways, and you can't, you know, buy battle passes or anything like that. Don't harass/threaten voice actors, artists, or any content creator, which again, I think that's a very important one to put in there, and I'm glad that they did put that in there because a lot of voice actors have been seeing a lot of harassment recently. And don't send threats to customer support, don't interact with racists, and don't speak over people who are indigenous/affected. So again, I guess that's a pretty good don't section. I mean, they are missing one key point here, which I think is the, you know, the funniest part about this whole Hoyoverse boycott movement and, you know, just any kind of movement similar to this is that the one don't they don't have on there is don't play the game. They don't have a thing telling you to not play the game. That's not part of their thing. So you can still play the game, just don't spend money on it, which is just super weird because, again, you're still benefiting Hoyoverse by playing the game, even if you think, oh, I'm wasting server space and using up a lot of their money by being free to play. I mean, imagine how many people are free to play in Genshin Impact and Honkai Star and all of these other games. There are so many, and obviously it doesn't really affect Hoyoverse because, you know, we've already got people who are free to play. It's just more people going free to play. And I'm guessing a lot of these people have already spent money in the game, considering that they have to tell them not to. So again, you've already given money to Hoyoverse anyways, so they've already gotten what they've, you know, wanted out of you. But if you really wanted to boycott Hoyoverse, then you would just quit the game. I mean, there's so many new games out there at the moment. As I've been talking about recently, we've got like Wuthering Waves, which is very similar to Genshin Impact in the term of gameplay. You know, it's very open world. And yeah, I'm not saying that everyone should go over to Wuthering Waves, obviously. I'm not some, you know, Kuro shill as people try to make me out to be. There's so many other games too. Obviously, as I said, we've got like Snowbreak and stuff like that at the moment. Obviously, that one's a little bit more like edgy. So again, if you like that kind of stuff, then you can go over to that. And again, there's just so many other games that aren't within the Hoyoverse sphere that you could go and try out. So yeah, they've been going on and posting even more stuff, saying that they've been including like black singers and stuff in some of their music, but haven't included it in their game, which again I think is kind of weird, especially from Hoyoverse. But again, I think the whole Hoyoverse boycott movement is just super weird. Again, they got to spot the difference: China, Germany, Japan, not real. But again, that's kind of wrong, because Mondstadt was actually a mix of Germany and also like England, so they've already gotten that wrong off of the bat. So you can kind of tell what kind of people these are, spreading a lot of misinformation about areas. And also, they didn't include Fontaine here. Again, that is a mix of cultures too. I think it's French and a little bit of British as well, which kind of just proves that it isn't real either. I would say Mondstadt would be in the not real section either, because it is a mix of cultures. Germany and the UK are not the same thing, you know? They are quite different, and I would say it would fit into the not real category, as it is a blend of the two cultures. Now, Inazuma and Liwa, I would say, you know, that they do definitely identify with these two countries, and that's completely fine to say. But again, I think they just wanted to show appreciation to some of their bigger audiences, obviously Mihoyo being from China, and yeah, they've got a pretty big audience in Japan too. But you know, that's just my thinking. But again, they've got a lot of these posts like this, and you can kind of understand what kind of posts they post in this Twitter account. So then there was also the speech after the 5.0 live stream from Dawei, and pretty much he goes on saying that he's seen a lot of the comments that he, you know, from a lot of these Genshin Impact players, and that he's quite sad, and he actually starts to like cry literally on stage, which again, I do feel kind of bad for him, because obviously he's been getting all of this hate for literally just a game. Obviously, this is just a game at the end of the day. We don't really need to get so heated about it. But at the same time, I do think he's trying to farm a little bit of sympathy from a lot of the people. I mean, obviously, this is Hoyoverse. You know, if he didn't want people to be angry at his game or be angry at him and his studio, then why not just make the game better? There were so many changes that they could have added to the game to make the game better. And obviously, in the latest version 5.0, they've actually made a ton of really nice changes, including a free 5-star, which is absolutely amazing. But the thing is, although I do really like this update, don't get me wrong, Genshin Impact's newest update for Natlan looked amazing, and it looks like, you know, they've got some really cool stuff going on. It was 4 years too late. It's, you know, we've waited 4 years for this, or, you know, just over 4 years. And it's just kind of disappointing to see that we'll get it now, and now he's like crying on stage, saying that everyone's kind of ganging up on him, and that, you know, they tried to make the game as good as possible, and that people were saying that the Genshin Impact team was very arrogant and doesn't listen to everyone's opinions, and that a lot of them were, you know, struggling with a lot of anxiety and stuff of releasing a lot of this content, and that the team was overly confused about what was going on in general. And I can kind of understand where he's coming from, because it is hard to appeal to such a wide audience. Obviously, Genshin has so many players in the game, and the same with a lot of the other Hoyoverse games. But at the same time, it's really not that hard to make some universal changes that, you know, a lot of people will enjoy, such as a free 5-star, which we could have gotten a couple of years ago, and, you know, people would have just shut up by then, you know? But now it's, you know, we're up to Natlan. It's almost the end of the game, really. We've only got, like, what, 1 more region, 2 more regions left. And they finally decided to do it. But again, maybe it will fix a lot of the issues in the future, but we'll just have to wait and see. But again, this was a very interesting clip to see, especially, you know, a CEO talking about a lot of the issues in the community. I think it's kind of nice to see, but at the same time, I do think he's kind of farming a little bit of sympathy here. And then finally, I was talking about a lot of the voice actors going crazy. I will probably make a separate video on this, going more into detail into, you know, what's it all about. But pretty much, you know, Courtly Lin was a voice actor for Honkai Star and Sun Zero. She actually got replaced, you know, kicked out. Apparently, it's due to signal boosting the Genshin Impact and Hoyoverse boycott. This is according to this news page. Obviously, take that with a grain of salt. I don't know the exact reason, but a lot of people are speculating it's the boycott, or maybe the recent strike that went on. But pretty much, she just made a tweet, and then someone said, "Oh, I'm so proud of you for being so brave for getting rid of you," stuff like that. So they're pretty much making fun of her being kicked out. And then this voice actor, who also voices Sucrose in Genshin Impact, goes on to say, "You're a fucking loser who deserves to die alone. And I would bet $100,000 that you're incredibly depressed and hate yourself. Get therapy or rot alone in your bedroom, but leave nice people out of it, nerd." That, or have the balls to say this in person, not behind a profile picture. So again, they are properly going in, and that is very unlike Sucrose's character, which is kind of funny to see the kind of contrast. But again, yeah, they are going properly in on them, and it seems like a lot of the voice actors are unhappy with how the community are treating them too. I'll make another longer video on this probably tomorrow. It'll probably come out the day after I make this video. But again, I'll go into it in more detail, but that's pretty much everything that's going on with the Hoyoverse boycott at the moment, and everything to do with the new update for Natlan, and how people are reacting to it. Because the overall consensus is people are pretty positive about it, apart from the boycott people. who obviously want to stir up more drama. And obviously they're doing pretty good from it too. They're getting a lot of followers, a lot of likes, a lot of stuff like that. So of course they're going to continue doing it anyways. But again, it's very interesting to see this unfold, and I'll definitely keep you guys updated if anything else happens. Again, this kind of stuff really interests me, as I've been a Genshin Impact player for ages, and it really interests me to see a lot of these communities, you know, popping up. And obviously a lot of these people probably haven't been playing as long as I have, or a lot of other creators have, and it's kind of interesting to see their take on it from a kind of like new player perspective, or kind of like new-ish player, maybe like a little bit older but not like that old player. It's kind of interesting to see, and yeah, I'm really interested in looking at this in the future. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Do you think that Hoyoverse deserves a lot of this hate that's coming over to them, or do you think that, you know, Dwayne was trying to farm a little bit of sympathy there? Yeah, as I said, go down to the description below to get some gamer subs where you can get yourself 10% off a ton of cups and tubs. And if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.